Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Big Man Boisterous coming to you with some Platinum League Pandemonium from the Shakuris Plateau. Up here in the top left-hand corner, we have Dwarfspider spawning in as the Red Terran, and up here in the top right-hand corner, we have Impulse spawning in as the Blue Terran. This is actually the second mirror matchup that I've done, because as it turns out, TVTs can turn out pretty epic, even if they are on the longer side. This is actually also going to be my first two-part video, which, I mean, isn't really a spoiler, because it's going to have part 1 after it at the top. And, yeah, so I'm going to post the part 2 in the video response category, so if you guys want to continue on watching the video, it will be a video response to this one. And if there is a period of silence in the middle of the video, there will probably be like a 4-second long silence. That's just my signal to myself to cut the video, so that's why that silence is there. Both of these players going for their supply depots. Dwarfspider is actually a bit ahead of Impulse, but that's just because his is approximately 6 seconds closer to his base. It does look like Dwarfspider is going to drop his barracks sooner than Impulse too, actually. That's pretty good. I think Impulse actually cut an SCV at some point because he was pretty far ahead in minerals. But yeah, both of these players are going for something fairly normal. None of them went for a gas first or CC first, because that would just be a ridiculous build. I don't know how you would defend a CC first in TVT, because all your opponent would have to do is 2-racks you. Looks like Dwarfspider is getting the earlier scout, and it doesn't even look like Impulse has the want to scout right now, although he might send out the SCV that builds his barracks to scout next. Is Dwarfspider gonna get out of here? Because I imagine that as soon as this SCV finishes building this barracks, he's going to go for another supply depot. And Dwarfspider is going to block the supply depot. That's cute. Oh, this SCV's trying to give the other one some love, but the other one just won't have it. So both of these players actually, he doesn't have an orbital yet. That's kind of surprising. Impulse actually getting a faster orbital despite having a slower barracks. That's a bit surprising. It does look like Dwarfspider is going to be going for an expansion, and yep, there it is. And is Impulse going to be getting one too? Is this going to be a barracks? Nope. He is going to go for his own command center. So both of these players doing a 1-racks expand, which is a fairly safe build, especially if your opponent's doing it too. They both got around at the same time of an orbital command, so neither of them is in a really super economic lead, although Dwarfspider is going to have his command center up first. They're both even on units, approximately. I mean, 1 Marine ahead for Impulse, but he's not really going to be able to do all that much. With that, Impulse actually going for a double refinery, so he might be rushing to Banshees, or he might just be going for some early tech like a Raven or some kind of play like that. He might be going for Sky Terran as well. He might go for the heavy Viking Raven with 1 or 2 Banshees kind of play. It does look like Dwarfspider is about to finish up his expansion with Impulse approximately 15 seconds behind, and that is a fairly big economic lead of 15 seconds, but Dwarfspider is also actually not going to pull any SCVs. That's a bit of a surprise. I would have expected to see him pull around 6, maybe. It looks like he also actually went for a double refinery, albeit a little bit later than Impulse's, but Impulse is actually only really mining off of 1. And he's mining off of 1 with 5 guys, so I think this was just a failed gas split, really. Because that's 6 combined workers, but there should be 3 on each, not a split of 4 and 5. So, Dwarfspider did just scan this command center, so he does know that he's in a fairly safe spot. I'm still surprised that he's not pulling any workers down. That's what most people would do, pull 4 to 5 workers, but, you know, it's okay. He might just not want to waste the mining time getting them down there. And, yeah, this looks like a pretty standard build out of both of them. Although it looks like Dwarfspider is going to be going for the much heavier bio play, whereas Impulse might be going for mass mech or mass mech bio, depending on if he drops a barracks or a factory after this. It looks like it's going to be siege tanks, and it looks like it's going to be a bio tank. Whereas for Dwarfspider, it looks like it's just going to be a really big mass bio play. and actually 2 tech labs going down. This is a bit of a surprise. Usually when I see somebody go for this kind of 4 to 6 racks play, I see them have either an even split of tech labs to reactors or more reactors than tech labs, which I think is just a normal thing to do. And it looks like we are going to have Reapers, everybody. Reapers. This is a very dangerous thing on this map because of this cliff. I mean, that cliff is definitely, it's right next to your mineral line. I mean, Reapers can just jump up, pick off 7 SCVs and run away. And it's a fairly simple thing to do. And wow, he's going for some super mass Reaper play right now. He has 3 racks, is pumping Reapers constantly. Well, it looks like it's going to be 4 or maybe even 5, and it does look like he is going to be going for those nitro packs, because otherwise he probably really wouldn't have gotten that factory. And nitro packs is of course the speed upgrade for the Reaper, which makes the Reapers on par with the speed of a metabolic boosted Ling. And it looks like he has very light defense at the front. I think that if Impulse did a timing with like 2 tanks with siege mode, he could win this game right now. If he lifted off one of his racks to spot the upper ground. But it doesn't look like he's going to. Plus, actually, the Reapers might be able to hold it off once they get speed boost, just because they'll be so fast. Because Reapers with speed boost are, again, almost as fast as Lings. And yeah, this is definitely going to be some mass bio with very little mech, as you can tell by the fact that he doesn't have a tech lab even on this factory. Yeah. This is 6 Raxes, and it does look like he's finally switching over to Marine production instead of Reaper production. And this is, what, 9 Reapers? 9 Reapers, which is a fairly dangerous attack force, and it does look like they're going to, he's timing it so that they'll hit the base as soon as Nitro Pack finishes, or right before Nitro Pack finishes, and then they'll just, swing around. And he is not prepared for this at all. He has missile turrets up here, but all of his units, including his siege tanks, are at his back. I think that if he had sacrificed something to try to see this, then he would have seen this coming. But yeah, this is not a good situation for Impulse, and he just lost 6 workers, which, again, it's not an amazing amount of damage, but he's also going to lose all these missile turrets to these Reapers, which means that if Dwarfspider decides to come back in with something like Banshees or Cloak Banshees, then he's going to be able to do a lot of damage. Did Dwarfspider see this? If he saw this tank and he can pick this tank up, that's going to be huge. And actually, he did. He just traded a Reaper for a tank, which is that's a good play. I would definitely take that trade any day. And is he actually going to get the second tank? Is the second tank going to be for free? Well, the second tank is running right into the Reapers. Yep, that second tank is going to go down for free. So he just traded 1 Reaper for 2 tanks, which is a lot of damage. Actually, he's actually saying balls to that, because that tank was sieging up. That tank didn't even know what hit him. And it does look like he's switching into the Mass Marine, which kind of surprises me, considering the fact that all of these are tech labs. I'm amazed that he's not going for some Marauders to accompany those Marines, or at least that's what I would do if I was in this situation, especially against somebody that was going for such heavy siege tank play. But it does look like he is stopping mining at the main, essentially. This is a gross oversaturation. This is, what, 38 SCVs? Plus the fact that he's getting supply blocked by all these Reapers that are just running in and killing off supply depots. I mean, all of this with, again, all of that with losing 1 Reaper. So he traded 6 workers and 10 units for 1 Reaper. That's a pretty good trade for my count. I think he should be going for heavier Marauder numbers instead of this kind of mass Marine play off of so many tech labs. Just because, I mean, Marauders are just that beefy unit that will be able to absorb all of those blows from the siege tank and kill the siege tank and then move right into the Marines, wiping everything else out. And it does look like Dwarfspider is getting a bit of a trust fund. I think he is dropping 4 more barracks though up here, and it's going to be a 5th barracks, so he probably will burn through that fairly fast. And the Reapers, actually, a lot of them went down. That was, what, 4? I mean, now it's down to 3 Reapers, and it looks like they're going to die. And, yep, that's the last Reaper goes down.